Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to our Dungeon Master Deep Dive for D&D in a Castle with Markeia McCarty. I am Tara, founder of D&D in a Castle, and we're chatting with one of our brand new Dungeon Masters for our upcoming D&D in a Castle USA this coming July. Markeia, welcome. Thank you for coming to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Tara. I mean, this is a this is going to be a blast. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah. Yes, lots of fun. Much fun in store. So, Markeia, this is your first time coming to D&D in a Castle. It will be this summer. June 29th to July 3rd are the dates of that event at our American Castle. And so what, to start with, what made you want to be part of D&D in a Castle?
Well, I have worked in the industry and are friends with just about every DM that D&D in the Castle has had. So I've heard so many really incredible stories from people about how they loved having their campaigns done, in that environment, and then also the people that were involved, the players that were involved, and then like D&D in a Castle in and of itself. And it just came around to a point where I was like, let me contact them or let me see if someone can do a reach out. Yeah, and I'm excited to be able to jump into the story pool myself with y'all.
Very cool. We're excited to have you for sure. So what do you have in store a little bit? If you give us a little teaser of what you're planning for your players at D&D in a Castle this summer.
Okay. Well, see, that's the thing. I knew you were going to ask me that. The thing of it is, the thing with my gameplay. Okay. Um, so I've GM'd a lot. I've been a professional GM since like 2016, for numerous different channels, like and people and for different companies. And one of the things that I love to do is that I do you know the game Skyrim?
I'm sure a lot of our viewers do. Yeah.
Okay. It's just picture this big D&D-esque video game that is truly open world, where it has a main storyline, definitely, but it has all of these side quests where you can discover yourself and your character and your party in those side quests. And yeah, you can do the main storyline, but it's all about the side quests in the world. That's kind of where my GM style is. I create universes for people in those campaigns. That being said, I usually have, this is like a long way around to answer your question. I'm getting there though,
I'm
Tara.
here for it. This is why we're here. I want to hear all of it.
Well, the thing of it is that I usually have a hook or a big surprise that I have with it. So me describing the game that the campaign that I'm going to do for this first D&D in a Castle, it's like I'm trying to come up with a way to describe it without giving away. Okay, so here goes. It's called A Series of Unfortunate Heists. This campaign that I'm going to be doing for summer 2025 is actually an amalgamation of a year and a half of campaigns that I've done for other channels, where it everybody took that campaign and took it in a direction, because I create a universe for them, and took it in a direction that I wasn't expecting. And then there's the actual campaign that I had for them. So it's a amalgamation of those with a twist, with emphasis on why it is unfortunate heists. Um, let's just say that if you believe that bring your cursed dice, to this campaign. I'm so incredibly excited about what you and the rest of your players will be able to do in a world where, let's just say, the stakes are not in your favor, but it's kind of a good thing that they're not.
Okay.
I'm being cryptic and vague, but yeah, there are heists involved. There are different worlds. There is interdimensional travel that does happen in it, and yes, hopefully no one ticks off the Fae too much as well.
Well, that's a bad move to do. Um, in terms of your games in general, and the games that you like to run, we always say that at D&D in a Castle, you get the game you can't really get anywhere else. So, and part of that, a big part of that is the game there are as many games of D&D as there are people to run them, and more. So, there's the game that you offer, your game and what you do and how you approach the game, the things you're excited to run, your specialties, your particular flavor of Dungeons and Dragons. So what does that look like? What is the ultimate Markeia McCarty game?
Probably this one that I'm doing for y'all, definitely. Getting carte blanche to be able to well, it's cross genre, definitely.
Okay.
Cry, laughed, rage against the machine, most definitely. I'm a military brat, so I grew up in many different countries and was exposed to many different nerddoms, which I had to learn and then teach my nerddom to people moving from base to base. So I'm basically a patchwork of nerd. And that is what I bring to my adventures. I bring horror. I'm a big horror fan. So I bring different nuanced horror, psychological horror, body horror, not so much, but uh, zombies, ghouls. I love them all day, every day. Uh, so that bringing into it, while I also like the slapstick niche, like Guardians of the Galaxy. I've had many worlds that there's one that I actually did for Geek and Sundry called Custodians of the Universe. And that one was it was exactly like it sounds. Yeah, I love to, because I am so passionate about so many things, I bring all of that into the world. And I love when I have players that are super passionate about something and they put that in their backstory, or they are in a random conversation, they will bring that up. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I have an NPC for that, kind of a deal, because I already have this universe for them. But I mean, you will find so many different elements, uh archetypes, yes, superhero archetypes, supervillain archetypes, sure, but you'll also have the fun of, if you are into tarot, or you're not even into that, there can be the archetypes of that, like mystical archetypes that are brought in there. I mean, it's all such a blast, Tara. It all is. And I love to have it resonate with people. And that's just where I live with everything.
Cool. And how did you get into D&D? What's your D&D backstory? How did you come to be such a nerd? If I can say that.
Yeah. That is a compliment and a describing term to
I
me.
mean it in the
So I
best
don't know.
possible way, like this is where the
Uh,
nerds have won. So
yeah. Well, the race is long. For me, I started around, I want to say 9 or 10 years of age. Again, I was a military brat. I was living in London at the time. And I was there for like 3.5 years. And that's when I was introduced to, well, a number of things: wrestling, horror, and TTRPGs, pencil and paper games. The first one was Dungeons and Dragons. So I was like, wait, I can, the concept of looting bodies. Oh man, little
that's
9-year-old me, I was just like, but that, and being able to think your way out of different situations, like not everything had to be combat, but then when it was combat was so cool. Like being able to, it's not just me hitting something with an axe. It's not me just hitting something with a mace. It's me also being like, oh, let me spider crawl and do all this other stuff. It's Yeah, that's how I got introduced to it. Somebody teaching me their nerd, and it just clicking big time. And then, fast forward to like 2016, when I was like on Geek and Sundry and Hyper RPG and all these other channels, GMing creations, everything from horror to like custodians of the universe and so on. And it's just like, I'm not going to give it up, Tara. I like it too much.
What angle do you come at professional dungeon mastering from? Some people come from a more performance, with a theater background, acting, performing background. Some are more from like the writing background. Some of them are from the game design background. What's your kind of way into the game?
I'm a theater major. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm a theater kid. It's about performance. It's about diving into the role. It's about bringing in classical elements into things. I tend to use poetry a lot, or depending, I'll utilize a character from a novel like Octavia Butler is an incredible novelist. Rest in peace for her. And she is, I'm not going to say she's, I have a lot of main focal points because I am very much a reader. I'm very much a reader. I'm very much, I consume media. Yeah. Whether it's reading, video games, most definitely, or just popular culture kind of a deal. I consume theater, kid it, and then put my own spin on things. So yes, very performative, RP heavy, definitely. But because I have also a writing background, I love crafting heartbreakingly funny stories for people
Mhm.
because it's also about the cathartic release.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's that. So I'm very much rule of cool when it comes to things. I'm not going to be your crunchy rules lawyer DM. I'm aware of the rules, most definitely. I mean, Wizards of the Coast was very lovely and has sent me a number of books, and I
Mhm.
love them for it, and a DM screen, which I will be using. Um, but yeah, aware of the rules, but if it's cool, it flies.
Nice, nice. And I have some. I'm going to tease a little bit of exciting news because we're here at our DM deep dive on D&D in a Castle. We just this week released actually the tickets to this event, which is June 29th to July 3rd, which is our USA Castle or American D&D in a Castle, at which Markeia and others will be running exciting campaigns for up to 6 players. Over the course of the 4 days of the event. And we just made our advance access available to people who have a deposit. So you can buy a deposit for D&D in a Castle, and then you get early access to tickets. And what I have to tell the public, and which I think you know already, Markeia, is that the event is essentially sold out. I think there were 3 tickets left for the primary campaigns. There's a hardcore mode, which also has a couple of tickets, and there's a youth table that also has a couple of tickets. But on the whole, all of the regular tickets are almost sold out, and that we have decided to extend D&D in a Castle USA for a second round immediately following the week after. So if you have been looking at this event and you're thinking, oh no, it is almost gone, all the tickets I wanted are almost gone, you will have another opportunity to play a game with Markeia or some of our other dungeon masters July 6th to 10th. So that piece of information is now buried in the middle of our YouTube video. So I think only the people who are watching will know about this, and there's more information coming about that special bonus round. So you will be able to run this campaign twice, Markeia. How do you feel about that?
I feel so excited about that because, like I told you, I make universes for people. So having the having what I take in the first round, and I actually kind of hope that I have some people that were first round also do second round because that would be really awesome. Yeah, because they would think then, oh, I know all the tips and tricks, I know the surprises, I know the hooks. Be like, no, you don't, because when I found out that there was a second round, I started building an alternate world of what I'd
Mhm.
already created for this one. So it's like, oh, this is gonna that's gonna be a vacation for me. That's gonna be a lot of greatness, and I'm really looking forward to that. And
So do you
I
think you're
want
going to do you're gonna do like a part A, part B, or are you gonna like go back to the beginning, but it's like a choose your own adventure? You might go a different way. You might do something a little different.
I'm leaning more towards the second one because I would love to be able to give a sense of completion to everyone. Like I was saying earlier, those that are the Skyrim people. Okay. I have actually never completed the main storyline for Skyrim. I do know everything just about around that. So for me, I have a sense of completion with that game. Could not tell you how it ends. Have no idea. Uh, if it's great if people live in that same world with me where it's all about the adventure. It doesn't matter if you get to the destination. But I know that not everybody's like that. So therefore, I will have the first round be destination based. And then the second round will be that alternate world where I'm going to feel out the players. And if they are destination based, it's going to be more of a choose your own adventure for the first one. If they're journey based, well, they can take that in any direction that they want. They definitely can.
Nice. Nice. In terms of your games, what kind of player do you think is the kind of player that would really enjoy gaming with you as a DM? Who are you the DM for? You know.
I am the DM for, okay, three definite types. I would say that I'm the DM for. I'm the DM for the forever DM.
Mm,
The one that never gets to be a player because they always have to, schedule everything, hosting at their place, figuring everything out, knowing the rules for everything. I'm a DM for that person, definitely, because I let them take it off. I let them
yeah.
take it off and take it off to the side. Be like, hey, I'm going to take care of all this stuff. You know what you're going to do? You're going to stretch and flex those player muscles. You're going to get those reps in for your character. I'm your DM, forever DM. I'm also the DM for those that are not very certain or trying out a new class, trying out, they're just like, hey, I have this level 17, aberrant mind sorcerer, abyssal mind sorcerer, and I'm gonna set them off to the side, and now I'm a halfling rogue. And I've never played halfling before. I've never played rogue before. I've always been a magic user. I'm like, okay, great, I got you. You're going to have so much fun. So if you're trying out a new class, or you're not that, if you feel like you're not as strong in D&D as someone else is, I'm going to take care of you. We're going to have a lot of fun. And then a third type of person, those that live and breathe RP, you are going to have a blast with me. We're going to have a really good time. Bring your bad accent. I want it. I feast on those bad accents. Bring me poetry that your character has made, or some sort of epic thing that they did, or epic fail. Even better. Don't worry about winning in my game. In fact, I have a mechanic that don't give everything away. Okay, it's not always great to win. We'll say that. And I'm giving you in my game a series of unfortunate heists, the generous approval even of failing, because you fail forward. And yeah, so yeah, those are the three types. Forever GM, you're trying out something new, you want to give this a go. And then the RP theater kids, or you're not a theater kid, but you love it.
I think D&D in a castle is that kind of place for that kind of scope. We get players who provide novel story length backstories, and people are invested, I think is the word of the players at D&D in a castle. They're invested in this game, they're invested in the experience, they're here and they're 100% here for it. So yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. So I'm hoping you get that from your players. Are you a kind of a customize the game to the players kind of a GM? Like, how much do you take that into your actual design or plans, and how much does that do you have your game and then they can do what they want with it, but this is the game, and how much are you gonna build stuff around what they give you?
Well, the game is already built. So that's like a done thing. I will tweak it because I always do between now and start. So I know who they're going to encounter, and I have a backstory, a back catalog of NPCs and locations that are just ready to go. That's me. That's just how I do. That's set. So really, it's like they're bringing more flavor to the world. I'm not linear like a Legend of Zelda game is, like classic Legend of Zelda. Sorry, I'm speaking in video game with everything, but classic Legend of Zelda, we're talking Ocarina of Time. You got an open world feel, but there were specific places, like things were blocked until you unlocked something to be able to go into another level, another
Mhm.
section. It depends on the chemistry of the group if I need to become classic, Legend of Zelda, where it's like putting up, like, oh, okay, well, you need to collect this artifact before you can unlock that. Or if it's like going to be Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, where it's like they set in a direction, they know what the main thing is, and they know their timeline that they have to get it done, or they can just head in a direction and start taking down some temples. I mean, yeah, I do sprinkle in, and I love to I don't know if it's called fan service with this, but if someone gives me some really great elements of their backstory, there's a really great connection that happens during play. I make sure to, what's a better term than saying exploit that wonderfully later on in the actual game itself. I
Yeah.
actually wish that we had a little longer. Is that weird? Yeah.
In terms of the length and the format of the game, specifically at D&D Castle, you get, 2 4-hour sessions a day for the 3 main days, plus a prologue session on the first day for up to 2 hours. Have you played in that format before, like, or that kind of structure where it's like just go for days and everything else is sort of taken care of, and there isn't, as opposed to say like a weekly game or a one shot, or the kind of 2 other formats. This is like an intensive multiple days. Have you been through that kind of D&D experience before?
Yes, but in the sense of when you pre-shoot seasons for
Right.
channels, then you are shooting 2 or 3 games within a shooting day. And a shooting day could be anything from 10 to 12 hours long, depending if it's a SAG project or not, type of a deal. And then there you're going to have back-to-back games that are happening with characters, because you've got maybe 2 to 3 days of shooting, 2 to 4, depending, days of shooting. And then, you let the tech wizards do their stuff with it. So that, yes, I am familiar with. Going to a location and being able to have, this beautiful backdrop of everything, to having where you're going to be able to have dinner with like the players later, or even, you know, goddess willing, karaoke sometime. That kind of that kind of experience I haven't had. So that I kind of like the idea of what I do know with that structured shooting day schedule being melded into the, I don't know, the ease, like the muscle unclenching that you get
Yeah.
with a home game, um, a
Yeah.
hosted home game. So yeah.
Yeah. I think it's uh, it's neither, but it's kind of the best of both, because it's the intensity that you're describing of just going straight through the campaign, but also you're not performing. That's the beauty of it, is it's a private for just the people who are there. It's literally just your adventure in your gaming room with just those people having your fun, and it no one else it's not streamed, no one else is watching, it's not for anybody else's sake. You can just break down crying, as we all do. Are you a break them down till they cry kind of dungeon master?
Yes.
I mean, I think
Yes.
all I think all dungeon masters are, but what are some examples of some memorable times that tears have been shed at your table?
Oh, man. Okay. I'm not gonna say anybody's name or even get too okay, but this I think this person will know that I'm talking about him. There was a campaign that I made, and out of that campaign, a one shot ended up being made from that, and it very specifically that one shot. Then I it's like I'm like a nesting cup of like Russian dolls with everything. Um, that one shot, a character from that, I then pulled into this. It's called a Dungeon Descent Ultimate, which is like it's a local thing for LA. And from that nesting doll, that one character that I took out to be a GM for, that GM ended up making a series of choices with someone. It was a friend of mine, so I knew that he was going through some different things and hadn't released like some stuff. And he had like a really great villainous character, and everything was it still fit with the party. Um, I made some choices as that GM to kind of tap those points that I knew he just needed to release from, and it gave him a permission to be even more villainous, but in a comical way, as opposed to having to put on the I'm a mask of villain, I'm an edge lord kind of a thing. So being able to go ahead and find the comic relief of everything. And afterwards, we were having a moment and having drinks, and he kind of like broke down, and he was just flooded with like all of these feelings and everything. And if he's watching, I really appreciate you, and we're going to grab a drink again sometime very very soon. And you are the best, my dude, you are the best. So yeah,
Oh, lovely. So that was away from the table after
that was away from the
the
table. So yeah, things that happen at the table, you have the permission to take
Mhm.
off the mask that society says that you have to wear. You
Yeah.
know, those facades that are so pretty, you can take them off with me. Yeah, and then afterwards he was just like, I can't, that felt so freeing. That felt so
Mhm.
good. It's like, can I do that all the time? I'm like, yes, yes,
Yes,
you can.
yeah.
Yes, you can. Next Monday,
Please.
let's do it.
I love it. That's the thing I love about role play, and just the resonance between your real life person being freed by fantasy, being freed by being somebody else. We do have a question before we close, which is, what would you be most excited to see players bring to the game?
Ooh, okay. Well, I'll answer for this specific
Yeah,
game
yeah,
then. Yeah, for this specific game, I want them to bring what they consider to be the most cursed version of their players or themselves, where it's like, let's say that you have a character where it's like you've tried to put them in different campaigns, but they're just too sweet and too nice, and you've had to throw away your backstory because you've bent to the elements of someone else's kind of a thing. I want you to bring that character that you just never seem to it never seems to fly for them, or like I said before, the cursed dice or the cursed cloak or whatnot. I would be very excited for you to bring uh it's cool for you to bring a character that you've like meticulously crafted and you feel like this is going to be the best version of everything. I mean, that's cool, that's cool. I want you to bring what you feel is broken, what you feel is broken and cannot be fixed in any way shape or form. It's like, I just need to this yeah, this doesn't work for me. It's not going to work. And I these broken dreams, bring me your broken dream.
bring your broken dreams to D&D in a castle. I love it. I love it. So we are at our time. We've been chatting with Markeia McCarty, who is going to be running a game of Dungeons and Dragons at D&D in a castle for 4 days in a castle, having a glorious escapist time. And again, July 6th to 10th, which hasn't yet been announced. But if you're watching the stream, you get this secret insider information. So good for you for sticking to the end. I'm going to pass it over to you to take us out, Markeia, and invite the people to join you at D&D in a Castle this summer.
Well, everyone, we finally have our alone time. Just me, you, and the dice make 3 tonight. So for the 2025 summer edition of D&D in a Castle, where you are going to come and heist with me in a series of unfortunate heists, I am so excited to be able to spend that time with you. And most importantly, bring everything that you feel is broken, trampled on. I want every bit of it, because this is going to be the campaign to mend, heal, and triumph in a way that you fail, but it's okay because we fail forward. Why do you fall? So you can get up again.
Amazing. Thank you. And we will see you all at the castle. It's been wonderful chatting with you, Markeia. And we will be together in person soon.
All right. This has been a joy, Tara. Thank you. And thanks, everyone.
Take care.